Om Shri Sai Ram. We are getting ready for study circle. I request everyone to come to the bhajan hall, please. Om Shri Sai Ram. We are getting ready for study circle. I request everyone to come to the bhajan hall, please. Online is working. फॉरेन कंट्री से हुआ है इंडिया से वो जैसे और आप कहाँ से आई वो भी कहाँ से यूरोप से जाने कहाँ से घूम के आ रही है ये ट्रेन से जाओ like after button like that. Hi Madhuri. I'm going to have to move a little bit further. Little bit. Thank you. I can stretch my feet. Oh, 10 seconds. Oh. 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 Let us start with a prayer to Swami. Dear Swami, we are so grateful to be able to meet here together in your presence today. While we are here together studying your word in your Bhagavatha Vahini, we ask that you open our ears and hearts to whatever it is you want us to learn. Please speak through each one of us and help us progress in our spiritual journey. Jai Sai Ram. Sai Ram. So today we are going to continue our discussion on Bhagavat Vahini, chapter 4. And before then, I'll just read out a few housekeeping etiquette items. Please mute your cell phones. And let's try to be open-minded and cognizant of the time when we actually share our thoughts. And let's not put our intellectual prowess on display. And more importantly, let us try to see if we can leave our ego outside this bhajan hall that will help us to open our hearts and minds to what we need to learn today. Sai Ram. All right, just a review from last session. Last session, we had a great discussion on karma and dharma. We continued our discussion on karma and dharma. And we are looking at Swami's discourse on karma and dharma and how he has given various examples, including a story of from the Mahabharata. So with that, we started talking about the nature of actions, what Swami means by nature of actions. And with that, we had a story that Shankaranji shared about the story of a bird, about Yama and how he was wondering how the bird would die and the role of Garuda in enabling the bird to actually end its life because of its karma. So and following that, we talked about how controlling mind is important and how the mind needs to focus on a purpose, and how action can be viewed as service, and that would actually change the nature of our actions. Then we talked about, does a service activity constitute good karma? And then it was decided that it would not be unless you're in equanimous state of thought, word, and deed. And then we continued our discussion to what is the impact of time on karma. And we had a great story about a couple that was carrying a mattress and how it saved the baby from falling from the building, and so that was a lesson from there, that the timing of our action has its reasons, and we need to have faith. We continued through free will and divine will. We did not complete that discussion, but we started that, and we said we should use our will as a moral compass. We actually talked about calming the mind to listen to the conscience. We have and said that we have to have the faith that some things are destined to happen due to past actions, or maybe due to past group actions. So either ways, for events happening around the world also, there is a karmic reason for that. So that's where we ended, and then I will scroll down. But if anyone wants to add something here, we can definitely open it up. So we'll be continuing with free will. And I think at the end, we had a great discussion, and Vijayji, after the entire 1.5 session, he asked his question at the end. So, so I think we should start with his question, but I will come to that. Yeah. So let's just, I wanted to actually share something, because so through, on Monday I woke up with a thought to reach out to Sundar Iyer about free will and divine will. So as soon at 4:30 a.m., I texted him, and he said, I will text you back with details at 6 o'clock. And then he sent it to me at around in the afternoon. So I think I will scroll to what he said is free will. So to my question, what is free will? He said, free will is the ability to will anything and everything with no strings or limitations attached. One is able to do and undo at will. Then I said, do we have one? He said, as long as we identify with this body and connect to the limited identity that is defined by our name and form, our will is limited by the extent we define ourselves. Example, he said, as long as I identify myself as Sundar Iyer, I'm limited to how I define and believe in Sundar Iyer. Hence, Sundar Iyer can never experience free will. Then I say, the third question I had asked is, what is divine will and how do we recognize it? So he said, divine will is a will that comes from the state of enlightenment and oneness, Kaivalya. Only Godhead has this experience. In order to experience this, using our previous example, Sundar has to die and Sai has to be born. When this happens, then Sai works his will and Sundar is an instrument, hollow like the flute in Krishna's hands. Jesus had to die for Christ to be born. Sundar can never experience divine will. Only Sai can express divine will. Sai or Krishna or Christ, all these mean the same. So in the end, he just said, the sacred irony is this: when divine will of Sai or Christ finds expression through Sundar, then Sundar is not there to experience this, because the Christ or Sai consciousness is the one operating. When Sundar's will finds expression, then Sai or Christ's will becomes dormant and stays hidden. Thus, you and I, when identified with the limited self, can never have or experience free or divine will. Only God can. Sai Ram. So does anyone have anything to add? Because I know a lot of probably the newcomers don't know who Sundar is also. He was a Swami student, and he has his own, he has taken a great path and generally runs a non-profit called Kaivalya, right? And yeah, so please, if you can talk about Sundar a little bit before we move on.
Okay. We can go ahead. No. So Dr. Sundar Iyer, he was a Swami student, and he was very close to Swami, and had the opportunity to serve Swami in many occasions and be very close to him, and had a lot of interactions with Swami. And he had the opportunity to graduate and also serve in the institute as a professor. So he served a few years, and based on Swami's guidance, he moved to the United States. He lives in Texas right now. Texas, right? Ohio. And he's very much into yoga, and also he's Shiva. He conducts several classes, and also on Shivoham. and is very, very spiritually enlightened. He and his wife, Maya, both are extremely devoted and spiritual persons, enlightened persons, and working towards enlightenment. And that is their goal. So they gave up all their materialistic pursuits just for the spiritual pursuits.
Watch. Yeah. Kaivalyayoga.org is their website link.
Yeah, please go ahead. This is Sundar's sister.
Yeah, okay, Saira. Yes, free will and divine will. One thing came to my mind was an example of Valmiki. When he was probably using the free will of whatever path he was on, he was the Ratnakar who was, robbing in the forest. But then the divine will comes, he becomes the Valmiki, right? Who could go to write a Ramayana. So the what I have listened to says that we don't have free will. We do think that we have. That society commands that. Yes, we do think we have free will, but in fact, everything is ultimately the divine will only, which is happening around us. So even Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda says the will that is in our mind only, which leads to action and karma. So yeah, so even the free will, the talk of free will is it's like a Western culture, Western religion related. It seems it is not in our thing. We don't talk about free will. We have freedom in Hinduism, and then we have karma for the action and reaction. But the free will is it doesn't come up at all. So the thing is, they say, and Adam and Eve in in the Eden, he used his free will to eat the forbidden fruit. So from there on, it is like free will. You do something whatever you want to do. If there is only one life, then you just do whatever. There is no consequences. Only we believe in reincarnation, and then we go for that, karma, and so that's what it is. Like there is a prayer that. Vivekananda say that from freedom we come, in bondage it becomes will, from bondage we go to freedom again. So they say that we have free will. Yes, we think we have free will. So we operate in this world. Whatever I want to do, I am doing. Okay, so that we assume that we have free will, but it is not proven in philosophy or religious or neuroscience. They say that they haven't proved that you have free will. And then, yes, we do have freedom. Only that, like he says, the enlightened person, after they achieve that realization, they have the freedom. So they are beyond the, free will of life. Yeah, that's what I have got.
So Sairam, from Sundaray's input, one thing that's very clear, staying in this human experience, we probably can never understand divine will. And what that means is, you have to surrender. If we do not surrender, you will, if when you surrender, then, it is his will. But you don't know that. You cannot, you just accept whatever is there, but you cannot say, that's what, you cannot, there is no way within the limitation of this argument we can see that. That's what I'm getting from you.
And Sairam, go ahead. Apart from discussing whether we have free will or divine will, let's look at the advantage of just surrendering. Then we are not going to suffer. See, the moment we accept that whatever is happening is due to the divine will, then there is no question of any option. See, in this country, for example, when you have choices, you get confusion. You get confused whether you should do this. When you say there is no choice, this is it, then you're not suffering. So you just accept it. But the only flip side of that is if you think that I don't have to do anything, whether it will let you do, whether that divine will let you do that is a different thing, but you may assume that you don't have to act, you don't have to do anything. That is the flip side of thinking that we don't have any free will. So that is where we have to be a little careful, I think.
So when we were talking about this, immediately my thought went to that cardiologist. Oh, what's his name? I forgot. Not Volati, the cardiologist who was gone to India, who is was it- Sola, Shrikant Sola. Yes, he said there is only one free will that we all have. That is the bodily attachment or the divine attachment. Right? Any action that is due to that's the only free will. So whenever we do that with the body attachment, we the karmic action, right? And when you do it only with the divinity, the divine, this one, then it becomes non-karmic and this one. So that's that. I go by that all the time.
So I feel like if we look at our life, daily life we live, and we make all decisions, every decision, when to buy this, buy that, do this, job, leave, take another job, whatever. We do it all our life. How much free will do we think we have? And we think we have a free will. I want to do this. I want to buy this house, so I'll go buy it. I want this car. I'll go buy it because I got money. Okay. That way we're looking at a free will, but how free is it? We never really think about it, do we? We never think how is this free will working in my daily life, living free will. I am living free will. Do I go and ask God all the time, can I do this or not? Can I buy this? We don't do that. We just do, this sounds right. This is what I need. This should be done. Whatever the reason, that we make a decision. That's my will. This is what I want to do. Is it free will?
Yeah, we think it is free will that leads to the bondage of lifetime of paying off the credit cards, you know. So, but the thing is, yeah, free will we don't have. Freedom, yes, but then just to surrender, like we were all talking about, offer everything to God, and God only has the free will. And whatever we do, it is thy will. That is the acceptance.
Now, these days, what we generally, what I do is even if it is a very, very trivial thing, I just say, for me, Swami is God. So I say, Swami, I'm doing this. Please act through me. Please do this through me. Please think through me. Whatever it is. So I just do that. So as a practice, it is becoming a practice. So I think if we do that, then consequences definitely we are not going to be affected by it because it is he's doing it. We are just an instrument. So then we are not going to be affected by whatever happens. So that is what I do. I think that helps because at least even if not on the karma side, karmic burden, all those things, we don't know about all those things. But at least to maintain that peace, it helps.
Yeah,
So,
Sairam.
yeah.
So can I just add to something that Ashaji said?
Okay.
So in many of our lives, we have probably attended 3 or 4 interviews before you finally get whatever job you're getting in. But between the interviews, we all go through, "Oh, if I get this, this is what the thing is." Our freedom says, "Oh, I'll be living in this place and it'll be like this, like this, like this." And then the reject letter comes. So now you drop that. And so we go through this, what we think as freedom, but the divine will is actually embedded there. Finally, you end up somewhere. How did we end up there? So that's what I think is divine will.
So, okay. So here, I don't know if others have this question and others are clear. What does it mean to say Jesus had to die for Christ to be born?
Jesus is the body and Christ is the divinity. So the body has to die for the Christ, for the divinity to be born. Yeah.
So my question is,
Not like that.
hello.
That does not mean that we have to really die. Hey, to go. But if we let go our body consciousness, that I-ness, I am this and that, then only we can. Sometimes we may, but at few minutes later we change our mind and go back to the old thing, you know. So how permanent it is? No.
So if there is no free will, then how did this terminology came into picture? Number one, exactly. So in our philosophy also, we talk about swa ichha, anichha, and parichha. These are the three ichhas. So those terms are made with some thought behind it. They were not made in vain. So that's what is the actuality. No one is, I mean, no, I don't mean no one, like, or we, at least I'm not at that level to always call it as Prabhu Ichha. So for us, that's what would be the criteria. If I'm doing a lot of actions we do, okay, I'll do this to graduate, I'll do this to come to US, I'll do this to go to the bank. Lot of things that is called swa ichha. Then lot of actions happen by par ichha. My wife wants to make me eat a dal or a sabji, or wants to go for shopping, I'll go with her. And anicca, like I don't want, still things are happening. That is anicca. These are the three categories we have studied. So all these are made because this is what human life is. The body is made like to do all these things. Once we go enter this path of spirituality, then we come to know that there is another divine ichha above all our ichhas. And then we start to surrender. Then we are taught to surrender. Let's start doing it so that your karmas become dharmas, basically, and you don't get bondage to those karmas. So there is nothing wrong in karma. The bondage, when we start to think of the getting bonded to the result of it, then it gets to our binding. I don't know how to express that. To our binding. So that is the bondage. That is, once we leave that, that will be our freedom. Then we, you know, will start to get to that level.
Okay. So just wanted to go back to what we read actually in Swami's discourse. He says that Bhishma tells Yudhishthira that the Lord grants the fruit of every action according to each person's deserts in any form, in any situation, through any agency. So it's basically that, again, the Lord will give us, grant the fruits. But if we cannot have our desires in between to say, just like Yudhishthira said, oh, don't give me the kingdom. I am a sinner. I don't want to be the king. It's not his place to say, is what Bhishma also told him. But how do we, like just now what Ashaji brought up, how do we imbibe that in our life? Because in my head, it's a catch 22. You always do things because you want to get somewhere. Like, for example, I set this PowerPoint because I want everyone to participate in it. Is that, I mean, that desire, that goal is there. I don't know if that is a desire or not, but definitely that goal is always there. And again, I don't know if it is a good satsang, I will say, okay, it went well, right? And it does get, as long as I can control that and say it's not me, but thanks to Swami, everybody came, I can do that. But again, not have the desire or not have that little pull or push, it'll kill that spark in me to better myself. Yes.
See, you can look at it this way, like the thought comes. I mean, maybe a couple of years ago, you were not even in the picture of study circle. Okay, I'm just taking you as an example. For any of us, whatever we are doing, we didn't think of that we will be at this position or at this way, we will be doing this or, pursuing this way, whatever it is. And then for that to materialize, even if you want to conduct a study circle, the thought came, but it has to materialize into action. That is where I think there is a divine will that it helps you to, provide you with the material, provide you the opportunity. Also, this is not a personal gain for one person. It is benefiting other people. See, this is the way the divine thought last week we talked about the message or whatever. It's not selfish motivation or selfish reason that we do things. If it benefits other people, it is worth it. So in that way, it is not wrong. Anything to do with spirituality or God-oriented. That is a good desire to have. That is the only good desire to have, nothing else.
See, the way I think is we always have to have plans. We always have to have ambitions, goals. m- Nothing wrong with it. But when we perform, always we are going to perform. For example, this study circle, we take that example. So obviously you want to have a good discussion. You want to have the good topics for discussion. So you're putting your effort. But ultimately, what will get shown here, how the discussion is going to happen is not in your control. Right? You can put in your effort in preparing the PowerPoint. That's all you can do. But who is going to say what, the discussion is going to go that day is not in your control. So that expecting that the discussion should go in this particular direction is not right. You can put your PowerPoint. That is perfectly fine. You have to do it. That is your karma. That is karma. You have to do it. That's what Krishna says. That is the action that has to be done. But we have to forget that, or we have to not expect the results to be this way. I think that's what.
See, that's what I was thinking. Look at this. As Baba says, this is the relative reality we are living in. Everything we are doing, it's a relative reality. So whatever we are doing, like she's doing the PowerPoint. Okay. If she has an expectation, hey guys, don't you know I'm doing such a wonderful thing? I'm great. You guys not doing, I'm doing it. Then see what happens. That'll be then you're attached to what you're doing, right? And you have an expectation from what you're doing, and you will suffer because you will never get it back what you want, right? So if we can just let go that attachment in this in this relative reality of ours, we can survive that way. And but when we give it to God, hey, you gave it, it's yours. We give it, then that there's a relief in us. Given to God, whatever will come out will be His decision, not my decision. That way, more acceptance will come, I think, whatever we are doing,
Right.
and we will do it with more love and regard, or for God itself.
In any
That's what I
field,
think.
any subject, whatever we do, if we can leave the ego out and take credit for the results if it's good. Oh, I did it. I sang well today. I did so well today. Whatever it is we are doing in the job, anything. If we can surrender and let the ego go aside, I think that will be on dharmic way. Whatever we do it in the dharmic way as far as possible, as much as possible. And I think we are good.
I want to extend this argument to, we have free will, which means I can do with my body attachment, with my mind attachment, I will do whatever I want. And you can keep living like that. Just follow, keep doing that. Then you realize that, you can also say, I don't want to do anything. I want to be just sitting in the couch, do nothing. And whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen. It will go like that. But at some point, you will have to do work. And that work can actually condense down to just breathe. You may not be even able to breathe properly because you have put on so much weight or you didn't do anything, you have not moved your hand, and all of a sudden, breathing becomes a work for you. So, until that prana goes away, you completely, you have to be doing work. So that karma will never go away.
So breathing is also karmic action?
Yes, because that breathing is an action. Just we are able to breathe is an action.
Krishna says inaction also action. Inaction also you have action going on. Until, the body leaves, even if you are sitting, breathing is an action. It is going on, but we think we are breathing on our own, but it happens. And the breathing also very important that it affects our moods when we are agitated and we are sick. And the breathing is fast, or if you're sick, it's probably slow. And, that's why the meditation comes into picture, that to control the breathing. Everything is related to the breathing. We can control the breathing. It controls the mind eventually.
Sairam, I have thought of this many, many, many times. Free will, divine will, free will, divine will. Because if someone is saying, Swami is saying, do this, don't do that. Why is he saying it? If you don't have any will to do anything, he's telling you to do, doing is an action. What prompts an action? A desire prompts an action, right? So that logically thinking, like scientific or, day-to-day activities. So the desire is nothing but the will. Will's definition means desire, So there is, I feel like a small element of control in us, whether to do this, don't do that. We can't think of it as a constantly God's will. Ultimately, yes, it is God's will. Whether I'm here, there, but if I want to come here, I don't know if I'll make it. I'm driving. I could come or I may not come. That is in God's hand. As long as you accept that everything is under his control and divine will, but there is also, he gave you this body, the senses and stuff to act, right? And make choices. Some people are making the right choices. Some people are making the wrong choices. That means they didn't recognize the divinity yet. Or take, are in the right path or whatever, right? So some people are, and they accept God's will. I don't know. I get confused a lot of times. Is there like a small amount of a will or that is in our control? I feel like there must be something, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. But align it towards God's will. Don't make it thinking that I'm in control. Yeah, I can do whatever I can, but hopefully with God's grace, So the question is not whether we are attached to the results. That's not the question here. The question is, is everything run by his will, or is he giving you some control of that as well? Yeah,
See, one second. Which story?
There was a story you talked about when Swami said that I'm only willing what you want to.
Correct,
That's
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't say that you have free will either. Swami doesn't say that.
Swami, what Swami says, this is what I heard. He doesn't say somebody, you do this. He will only get that from you.
What is that? What is that you?
That you is the divine will only. It's the divine will. See, I was thinking of sharing this. Like, imagine an actor in a movie, okay? Does he have a free will to act whatever he wants, however he wants? He doesn't have, because the director is going to say, this is the situation, this is what you have to do. So he is acting. So he doesn't have the free will to say something out of his own thing. He cannot think that, oh, I should say this, and he cannot say that, because they will go by the script. Now, who decides the script? The director decides the script, or whoever has written the script. So it is like that. So, and the actor gets all the praise. See, the world looks like that. So when we do something, the world looks at who has done it, but it's the divine master who is doing the work through us.
Right. The director is telling, the actor has to act though.
Yeah.
Correct.
The action has to happen.
Action has to happen.
It has to happen through his desire, that actor's desire to follow the director.
Desire to follow the director is good, but not the desire to say what he wants.
No. I in this one, because the artist has the freedom. See, there are some actors we say they are very good. Some are not good. Some are mediocre. See, why do we say that? If they are all repeating whatever the director says, but they do have their freedom to express how they want to play the role. Individually, they do that. Actresses, actors, so they are not really sticking to the script, but they do express it in the way they want to do it. That is why uniquely there are people we identify in any art, either music, or not everybody is so famous, not everybody is, great singers or artists. They do have, maybe that is the free will that they are expressing themselves in that way. Okay.
Or maybe the actors, those mediocre actors were born to be mediocre. Right?
I don't know. No,
So that's
see,
also possible.
no, if
right?
we think that way.
No, so I'll tell you what it is, right? So once a student, Swami student, javelin throw, he got first prize in javelin throw. And then he went to Swami and Swami, I got a first prize. I got the first prize in javelin throw. Swami did not care and he went off. Again, he saw Swami, thought the Swami didn't hear him out, the student. Again, next time he saw Swami, Swami, I got the first prize in javelin throw. Then Swami didn't say anything. Again, he left. And then he said, Swami, I got first prize in javelin throw. He said, really, kid? Lift your hand. You know, he could not lift his hand up. He said, then who won the first prize? Me or you? So even that is divine will, him moving up or down. So basically, we can think whatever we want. We can think that this is our action we are doing, but it is the divine. And as I said, a mediocre, if I'm born to be a mediocre in my job, that is again the divine will. That is something that I'm learning, that karmic action through that.
Then that is the vasana.
That
Then
is the
we- yeah.
vasana.
See,
Exactly.
exactly. So that brings me to say this. The children, okay, children are innocent, they are born all over the world. Why some children are born in affluent family and taken care of really well, and some are in poverty and born with disease? What is the reason? If all children are, innocent and they are just born, they don't have any karma, they just born, right? That's what we think. But then why that's, each one is different? So then you think about like a mediocre or great, why we cannot, same people do the same job, 10 people, some do it really well, some don't do it at all.
Yeah.
The
Last
opportunity is
Janma,
the
they
same.
got that
Right.
experience
So
to do
is
that
that
job.
what- Yeah.
So that's the karmic theory.
Yeah.
That's what the karma is.
Yeah.
How you
So
had done in the previous life, you are
Right.
being made like that's what
Right.
proves the karma theory.
karma
actually.
theory is there. Yes.
And as Shobaji has mentioned, if there was all divine, then why these five senses are made? Five senses and all the sensory and motor system is made. Why is it made? If it's all a dummy play, then it's very easy for us to put everything on God. Whatever bad we do, oh, he has made us do that. Keep doing the bad things. Keep doing the worst things. Oh, God is making us do this.
Right.
So let's not
No.
put everything on him.
No, it's not.
So yeah, by whatever else is everyone is saying, it seems like we are putting everything on him.
No, 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 no. We are not. When you
Why
do
are we
actions, selfish actions, if you are doing,
So who is demarcating that? Who is defining
is-
that?
no, no,
So
no,
is it not?
it is our soul journey that is determining that, right? So once we
If-
have to go to
still-
the cleansing process.
If it is still the karmic theory, then why do we need the senses? Why do we need the intellect? Why do we need that? We
intellect to
need
know
that,
that we are doing
so
wrong.
that we can understand and perform. Understand and perform. Why these teachings are made? Why so much of books are being made? We need to read it. We need to listen to satsang. We need to understand it and do the actions accordingly. If everything has to be put on God, then it is very easy. Then don't listen to any satsang. Don't listen to any divine thing. Let it happen. So all
We can put it on God, but that is the understanding that we have. Everything is God's will. And then whatever in this life as a human being we are born, whatever role we are playing here on this earth, we have to follow certain dharma. We have to follow certain rules, right? We cannot just sit at home
exactly.
and say the food is not going to show up on your plate if you don't do
So
anything.
that's why
So
we have to perform.
we have to. Nobody says we shouldn't, or we see. Even God Himself says that. Swami many times said, "You have to do your part."
Yes.
Right?
Just do not
That's-
stay attached to it.
Yes,
That's
right. So then, how do we get this? All kind of this we talk about the wisdom, or even to think in this way, that we need to take a step towards the spiritual path. Or this is the goal for us, right? We cannot just get up, eat, and sleep every day.
Do is an action. An action needs a will.
Right.
English definition. When you're talking in English, it gets confusing. It gets confusing that every action is driven by a will to do the action. And God is saying, do it for the right reasons, do the right actions. So He's giving you that discrimination sense to do it. But there is a will that you're
The
exercising.
will
there.
originates in the mind only.
Yes,
Where is
yeah.
the will coming from?
Of course,
In
yeah,
the mind.
Yeah.
So then,
we are the
then
human
again, you
form.
have to train the mind.
Yes,
See,
I'm not saying
No, that is what
but
it,
there is a
everything
will or
points to
not.
only.
That's the question here.
Yeah, the will
question
is there
is
in
there.
the mind. That is
Yes,
the
yeah.
that is the
Yes.
only thing we have.
Only freedom. So
No, it's not.
what freedom, the will, okay. So I am so confused right now. I am like, okay, now what? Okay, so we started with the concept of will. All I'm saying is, if you, we are, do we have free will? You said, yes, we do have the freedom to, you said we can have the freedom to think. That's all that you said. We didn't talk about
What
will
is
from there.
action? What I'm saying is like just definition wise, every action is driven by, so that means there is some will in this bodily form. In the senses,
Right.
there is that discrimination you have to use it for the right action, right path, whatever it is. Those that will come only with the understanding of all this. Okay. But everybody will exercise some will in every
see,
action needs a will.
This
How will
brings
you
me
act
that
without an
story, not a story, actual event that happened. This guy, on a highway, this lady is driving and her boyfriend, he is sitting next to her. And then another car, this lady is driving, her child, 6-year-old child is in the back seat, in the car seat. So what happened, that man and the girl, his girlfriend trying to move back and forth, and this mom didn't give them way to move to that lane. She kept going because she is going to the school. It is a real story. I just read it. So what happened? This yeah, and they tried to cut her and all that. After some time, this man got so annoyed. He took out a revolver and he shot at the car. It hit the 6-year-old boy and he died. And he said, ouch, and then mom pulled over and saw that child is dead. So now we talk about free will action and the will from the mind. What happened here? So many cars are going road rage, okay? And unfortunately, the child is dead. And whose fault is it? And why this man has to pull the trigger, He was now sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. This happened few years ago, I believe. Right? So where is the will in this?
Sairam, we have only one will, whether we want to attach to God or you do not want. If you attach to the God, all your wills will become divine. Otherwise, they are not.
I'm just going to recall what.
We can't hear you. It's off.
Yeah, what Sidney Poitier once said in his interview. So in our life, he said that he does not know that there is a divine existence or anything, but all he knows is every step I walk, I get a choice. So, the path always gives to two things. I should do this or I should do that. And then when you do this, you have to make a choice. So you do this. And then as you walk along, another split comes. So you say you go, I'll take this. So you don't have a whole lot of choice. You give your best thought and then say, this seems to be that's what we all lead our life in. We think at that moment, this is the right way to go and we do it. And so we keep doing that. And eventually you realize that, you have come somewhere, or you realize that you thought this is the path you take and you end up in the sea. So you know that that's not the right path to drive. So you will know eventually whether you took the right path or not. And sometimes things work out very well. You look back and say, okay, all these things happened. I just took my decisions this way. There must be some power. That's what he said. There must be some power. I don't believe in God or anything, but there must be some universal power that drives your life. So I think that's what it is.
See, God gave the brain, mind, for some reason. We got to use it, right? See, one of the students came and complained to Baba that the other student is saying very bad things against you, Baba. So Baba said, yeah, I gave you 2 ears, but I also gave you 2 legs also. You don't like it, walk away. In other words, he has given the mind to use it, whatever it is, we have to use our mind and then come to rest of the thing.
So to add to what Ashaji just said is which power God has not given us. God has given us everything which He possesses, except for the quantum. Except for the quantum, He has given us, tell me one power which God has not given us, which He possesses and we don't possess. So that's what she was saying exactly. So we have all the senses, all the powers of thinking, dreaming, creating, destroying, whatever God has, we have it. So it's only a matter of implementing it. I mean,
Yes,
obviously, we'll call it as a bigger dream or a bigger divine thing, but He has given us all those powers. It's a matter of using them in the right way. That's
exactly.
it.
I just want to say, thank God he didn't give some of the powers. Even though he says he has given everything, omnipresence. Fortunately, we don't have that. Omniscient. Fortunately, we
No,
don't have
but no, Sairam. But that's only because we have not practiced it.
We have not practiced. We are omnipresent.
Because he always says, Swami always says, this moment is omniscient. This moment
Exactly.
is
I was
omnipresent.
about to say that.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of elevating to that level. We are omnipresent once we reach that level. I have not reached that level, but we have read others' experiences. We will reach that level and we will be omnipresent. So He has given us all those powers.
See, with the omnipresent, it's interesting. If you're not in the past, and if you're not in the future, you are in this moment, and that's the only moment is there, whether it was 20 years back, today, or 20 years from now. That moment of now will always be there. So um, we are always omnipresent, right? Aren't we? If we be in that moment, not past or future, then we are omnipresent. That present moment, we are there, and that's it. This is the way. At least in theory, they say that, not that we believe and do it. No, no, no.
So if that is the concept of living every moment, then awareness has to be 100% at all times. And at all times, you should be driven to do your best. But that
But
doesn't
be present in this moment of now. We have to be present in this
no,
moment
I
of
mean,
now.
so here is what my point is, and I'll give an example. So I have a problem getting up in the morning. I seriously do. I can't get out of bed. Once I'm up, I'm okay, but can't. So anyway, so my point is that if I think that, hey, I'm wasting another minute and of doing the best I can in this minute, instead of lying on my bed and just going back to sleep, closing my eyes, I think that would help my action be a better action than me not thinking that way and just say, oh, just be here at this point. Then it won't help me to get out of bed. I will just be there. Like Shankaranji's example. Understand what I'm saying?
No, I think you are in
Is
that
your mind.
vasana. That vasana is to sleep, and so you're continuing to. So once you break that vasana, then I mean, we all have it, not that just you. I mean, yeah, we all have it. So that's the vasana we have, right? Some people are very angry. So I'll tell you, my dad was a very angry person. And my mom used to say that. I never knew that, but when he realized that the anger is something I have, I need to change, he changed it. So once you understand the vasana, you can change it if you will it, right? So everything can be
Training.
done.
No,
Uh,
not the,
you have
no,
to.
not only the will, the practice, right?
It's
The
like
mind.
you have to know
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you are
you
wrong
have
and
to
you have
take
to do that.
action, right?
Yeah. And one more thing I want to tell, like Uma told about that bullet, that shot, right? I'll tell you that happened in my family. When my brother was young, my dad had to go to work. So, but my brother suddenly got a very high fever. So my dad had to take him to the hospital. So he called the office and said, I won't be able to come because I have to take my child. And then they rushed to the hospital with my brother, and they did all the things for him and all. And when he was coming out, there was an ambulance coming. And what happened is that he was supposed to go, and since he didn't go, there was another guy there. And that place where he was going to work bust. And that guy died. And if had my father been there, he would have not been. So that is the will, God's will. So certainly, we have to be cognizant of our thought processes. That's all we have, as we said, cognizant of, is it self-centered, ego-centric? What is it? And
we get caught up in our routine mundane life sometimes. Like, for example, driving, you said, be aware. We drive in the same road. We don't even remember we passed that, this building, the familiar street or whatever. And oh, suddenly I am here already. I mean, my eyes are seeing, I am driving, but that, yeah, see, that is how, think about it in life also, we go through like this, not only simply driving, even incidents or whatever, we are not taking it in and be aware at that moment and see what I'm learning from this or what I am doing right now. We don't, we just carry on, and getting up in the morning and all, it is, I already talked about this, like mind, the training, like it's not just you in anything, we want to do something different and change, we have to work with our mind. That's
and
the
if
only
it is
solution.
this one, Bhavani, the day when I want to get up early, I will sleep late. And the day that I don't want to, then I'll get up very early.
So when it comes to the bigger picture, when you look at from 50,000 feet high, so for every of our wills and actions, you have some results. And you have a will and then you perform some action and you see some reaction or some result. So there are some things which happen without your involvement. You don't do anything, you are not willing to do anything, and it's not your expected result. There are so many things that happen. So whatever that happens to you without your involvement, without your will, without your action, that's what the divine action you can say from that 50,000 feet.
So that is all the natural disasters or a beautiful sunny day. That is not in our control. I mean, at least so we don't think that science has reached there yet. But yeah, I mean, totally get it. I think, yeah, please go ahead, Venkatji.
Now, just a question. When Ratnakar became Valmiki, do we say that his past vasana was making him Ratnakar, and or his past vasanas made him Valmiki?
Yeah, it could be both. It is both actually. See, even Purandaradasa, he was a miser. He wouldn't, what we say in Tamil, won't shoo the crow with a, when you are eating, afraid that, it might pick up a few kernels from your hand. Like a very stingy, But how did he become that Purandaradasa, So Raghunath Rao, that was his name, I believe, before he became Purandaradasa. So was he supposed to be like that? He was a jeweler. He was running this store. But his wife got to see God before he did. And there's a long story, so I'm not going to get into the story. But he became ardent devotee of Vitala. So I think for your question, it is both. It cannot be one or the other. Even for us, if you take, it's not a drastic change, but slowly we are evolving. We are not straight away going to the 100th step. We start one step at a time. So on the way, we experience so many different things. It could be the karma, or that's what I said last week. When we do something right now, are we doing because of our past karma, or we are sowing the seed for the future karma? Right? Yeah, so we cannot pick one or the other. It is all connected.
So if we can do something for the future, that means do we have the free will to do it?
Exactly.
Or is that also predetermined? Again, we are coming back to the same thing. So I think this is what I'm thinking. So the vasanas is that up to this second, or is that up to the time that we are born?
So this is, see, why does Swami or Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, all these people say, you use this opportunity, this human life has that opportunity, you know, and to cleanse all these karmas and reduce them and ultimately reach the goal. That means they're giving you a choice. They're giving you a small choice. You have to use
It's
it
not
in
only-
alignment.
It's not only
Not-
choice, there's an opportunity.
Opportunity
So that
also.
means there's a possibility to change it. That's why
Yes.
they're giving the opportunity.
Yeah.
And when there's a possibility, that means there's an option for us to do good. That is called free will.
Otherwise, the whole
Otherwise,
thing
it's all-
doesn't make sense. Why are they
Exactly.
telling us do this,
Do
do this,
this.
do this? They don't
Exactly.
have to. If everything is God willing, they don't have to tell us do this, do this, do this.
So I
Just
think
live,
I
you
think
know?
we can
It's a
go
mixture.
with Srikant Sola's. At every point, we have the choice to go materialistic, body centric, or God centric. That is the only free will we have. And I think if we realize that, I think that's that.
Ultimately, you have to accept whatever happens. You may have the free will to exercise. Like one time I was thinking, I was going down the steps. My free will says I'm stepping carefully. I want to go down, but takes 1 second for the leg to slip and fall down also. But I'm not willing to do that. I want to go down, you know, but if God wills it, I will be down in a second. I understand it. That understanding has to be there, that God's will is there, but you do your action. I can say I want to dance down the steps or jump down 4, you know, stairs or whatever, and then expect like, you know, just saying you have the will to.
I have a thought. It's out of none. We know God is residing in us. They say your Hriday Nivasi is God. He's in here, right? Eh? If we just accept what's happening, we will be in peace with the God inside us. There'll be only peace. So whether we say it was the divine will or our will or whatever, we are doing what we are doing. God is in us. So if we accept it, whatever is coming, then we will be at peace with the God in us, I feel.
Yeah. So
And
going,
believe in it that he is there and then he is hearing it, and he's not deaf. I mean, he's not wearing hearing aids like me. He can hear it without it. So he will hear it, and he will and believe in it that he will hear it, and just leave it at that. I would say.
yeah. So I think to have that feeling that Ashaji said is, to have the thought, word, and deed. That's the conscience is clear. That's what, happened. So eventually, to answer to, doctor's question, you know, any desire, any desire we have needs to be fulfilled. And if that cannot happen in this life, we are going to come back in life. We are going to get it satisfied. So the important point is all the desires have to be given away. Or say you can have the desire, but then offer it to God. So whatever, you perform according to the desire, you do your action, but then say, okay, I give it to you. And till we reach that point, we are going to accumulate all this. So we are going to come back to burn all that karma. So we need to come to a point where the karma completely is zero. At that point, you will realize that there is nothing. I am me and God. So I think we are all heading there. Some of us, probably million lives have gone, and still I'm in another million. Maybe not. We'll hope that we realize that point one day.
See, we know a person near my parents' village. His name is Gopal Krishnan. And what happened, he was studying for IAS and he went through the training and a lot of physical exercises and training they have to go through. Something went wrong. He fell down and he lost his sensation from neck down. So he became paralyzed, completely paralyzed. So his dream of being an IAS shut down. So now what did he do? He said he was so bitter for many years, okay? And then he turned around. Now he is running a school for handicapped children. We visited there. And he is doing so much service, okay? And there is one lady who married him just to serve him, okay? Nothing else. So she takes care of, he has a big school now, lot of donations come, and all kinds of, it's only children, all kinds of, problems they have. And the parents of the children, they work in the grounds or whatever they can do as a volunteer, they do. The children stay there, they have education also. At the same time, some skills also. Whatever limited way they can do, they learn something. See what happened? He fell down and become paralyzed. That he turned it into a blessing for so many people.
That could be a divine will.
Right, see? Yeah.
If we consider that as a divine will, probably like we are all in the temporary situation itself. We don't know what is our destination. So I think like we are all in confused. Like I think we are not in the state like where we need to understand what is a divine will or what is like will. So it's so confusing. Like it's always circular.
Yeah, so I think we have only about 2 minutes. Just wanted to say that I know we didn't really, it's Kala, it's time. It's got nothing to do with my will. So it's followed by time. But anyway, so we are going to move away from this for the next in the next session. We are not going to be talking about will anymore because this is it. I mean, there is nothing more to discuss it. But I also went home with that confusion, which I realized later on that I probably needed. And since I got this from Sundar, I thought I'll share it. So thank you all for sharing. And I think we can just go down. Sorry, this is going to make everyone dizzy, but that's not my intent. So let's just talking about life application. Let's try to focus on the thoughts behind our everyday actions. Like Asha ji had said, how much do we think about the final goal or what it is that it is going to cause? So let's try to make a note. So with that, I think we can end today's session with Om and Three Shantis. Thank you all. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Sai Ram. How do I?